Okay, I am calling to order the Board of Assessors meeting of January 13th. It is 4:04 in accordance with the provisions allowed by Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021. This meeting of the Board of Assessors will be held remotely. However, to view this meeting in progress, please go to facebook.com/LakeCAM. You don't need a Facebook account to view this, and this meeting is being recorded and can be viewed at a later date on LakeCAM. So we've just called the meeting to order. I don't think, or assuming, Sean, we don't have any one on Facebook looking to make public comment.
Not that I see.
Okay. We do have minutes from November 18th and December 2nd that need to be signed. I'm not sure. Did Linda send those to us?
She had just provided me with the minutes for the November 18th meeting for me to review. And my sense is that you'll want to pass over these minutes.
Yep. Okay.
I didn't see the minutes for the December 2nd meeting yet. So
okay, so we'll skip that agenda item. I'm sure we'll come back on next month. I know I've been in and I've seen Dave's signature on stuff as well. So just when we have an opportunity to stop by to sign up on the motor vehicle and real estate abatement reports and any invoices or other items. What I did email out the other day, and Gerald, I mean, I don't know if you want to 30 seconds or a minute just to did you our budget 2023. I just like to keep the board in the loop. Our budget is very simple in the sense that it's basically just a couple of office staff in our but
yeah, I don't know if David Golden had a copy of the budget. I looked here at my desk and I didn't see the proposed 2023 budget. I think the notable requests that I made were for to cover the cost of migrating from Vision 6 to Vision 8. As we've discussed in the past, Vision will probably in the coming year stop supporting the older Vision 6 version. They're trying to migrate all of their customers to Vision 8, and there's a cost associated with that. So I don't know if that item is still in the budget.
I believe yes, it is. It's not labeled as Vision, but we do have computer and GIS services is well. You can make sure that number is accurate, Gerald. But I mean, we do have. Not skipping it, but our highest budget item, which is up 20% from last year, is computer and GIS services. That's the only thing that's significantly up, other than salaries for office staff, which is up about 2%. Everything is relatively flat. There's a couple of items. I mean, percentage-wise, they look big, but in all reality, they're relatively small. Because it's, we got rid of $500 in one line item and whatnot, but overall the budget actually is up 3.2%, which is more than reasonable. So I guess my only comment, you want to look at those two lines and make sure they make sense to you, Gerald. I mean, if we're going to ask them to adjust it, we're going to want to do that sooner rather than later. And
so, John, I don't know if that's that budget that you're looking at is something you can send to me and David.
You have it.
Like I said, I inquired of Linda, and she was unaware that there was even a budget floating.
Oh, you were on an email that I sent out on Tuesday. I apologize, David. It doesn't look like you were on it. That's my bad. But you're on it. I sent it to you. So that's when I asked Linda to put it on the budget. So I'm going to re-forward it right now, Gerald, so you will have it again.
Okay.
I did have communication
Okay.
with back in August. He's mentioned that the town had approved $30,000 for our upgrade needs about a year ago. It's not part of the operating budget. I have an account number here. If you want, I can re-forward this to you both.
Yeah, I'm gonna forward you what I sent out earlier this week with the actual budget, but if you could forward that to me too, and that's a good point, David, I remember now, they did put some money in last year for that. It was outside of our budget because it's not just the assessor's office that that pertains to. So yeah, if you want to forward that to me, we can kind of consolidate or coordinate both of them to make sure that they know that, you know, this is something we had budgeted. If it hadn't been used last year, that it should be carried over to be used this year. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter whether they put it in our budget or whether they do it outside of our budget. It's really, it's the accounting's call as to where they want to allocate it towards. We just don't want to run into a situation where we need to, this cost comes up and then it's coming out of our budget and we haven't allocated it for, and then we're going to be way over. Because again, our budget is relatively small. So.
I know a couple of months ago I had requested from Tasha Vincent at Vision an updated quote. I'm not seeing anything in the budget that reflects the added cost of that conversion.
Okay, well, I'm wondering if that 30,000, and again, Dave did refresh my memory about last year, that could potentially be what it is, but we need to figure this out now rather than later because they're in budget season right now.
Yes, we definitely don't want that to slip through the cracks.
So we will. Do we have so you said you requested a quote from Vision, but we haven't received one yet, right?
Well, honestly, with a bit of brain fog here, I can't remember whether we got a reply or not. I'm fairly certain we did. Let me go out to my emails here and see. Version 8 upgrade, Lakeville. Okay, here it is. So the total cost is $30,000, 50% at signing and 50% due at installation.
When did we get that? Was it a while ago?
That would have come to me. Okay, now I know why I don't remember. It was back in March of 2020. Yeah,
well, that makes sense now. I can see Dave Golden smiling. So we obviously got that 30,000 that Todd has. So I guess the question is, you know, we need to make sure that we never use the 30, so they need to carry that over in whatever account he puts it in, and it shouldn't affect our operating budget. And again, personally, I don't care if they put it in our operating budget, but it's a separate line item that shouldn't have to do with the normal day-to-day expenses that this office
right
responsible for. So,
yeah.
Okay,
that quote's 2 years old.
Go ahead, Dave.
It sounds like that quote is 2 years old. So is that number still accurate?
Good point.
Well, a good question. My sense is that it is. It's comparable to what I'm now recalling in more recent quotes and comparable size communities.
Are we comfortable using that number, or are we safer just confirming that number is still going to hold if we do it this year?
So let me ask my colleague David G. Would you be willing to reach out to Vision and even Todd here to get everybody on the same page on making this happen?
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that.
Okay.
Let me know when you hear Vision, David, just so I know. Talking to Ari. I just want to. That 30,000 is there, because if that 30,000 quote is still firm, then I don't foresee this being an issue. It's just a matter of letting Todd and Ari and, the selectmen know that, don't forget, you got to put this back in because we never used it because we never executed last year.
Yeah, I think I have had some communication with Vision regarding this. I think they contacted me to ask when we were going to migrate, and I said after the new year. Let me go back to that and restart that conversation.
Yeah, to Dave Lamoureux's point, we just want to confirm that that number is not going to change. I can't imagine even if it did change, it's drastic, but if it's gone to 32, we want to adjust it or have the town adjust it for budgeting purposes. So, okay. Anyone have any other questions or comments on the budget? Like I said, it's pretty small, benign budget compared to most other departments in town. Okay, so on to the next agenda item. We need to discuss projections for new growth 2023, because we know that they'll be asking us for them soon, right, Harold?
Yes, in fact, Norman and I sat this afternoon to talk about new growth moving forward. And we don't have a number yet, but it's going to be well south of what we gave the folks down the hall last year. There are some new projects coming online, but it does seem that the bulk of the construction, which has been up in the LeBaron area, is coming to an end. A lot of those units are built. We will capture some growth there. We have the Island Terrace development, and Norman reports that that's coming along, but rather slowly. Second building hasn't even been started yet, and there's, I think, a total of 60 units, 66 when it's fully built out. So I know there's always a desire down the hall to have as aggressive a number as possible, but at this juncture, I'd really like to go with something far more conservative. So we'll have to quantify in some form what we're looking at with what we know is likely to be built in this spring building season.
Do we have any indication as to timeframes when they're looking for a number from us, or an estimate?
I have.
If we don't,
I personally haven't
let's
even
give us
received
due
a
date.
request. I haven't actually received a request yet for a new growth figure.
Okay. All right, that's fine. It's
So-
just, if they're, as soon as they start asking us, we're always better off to say, well, when do you need it by? Because as you know, they'll ask, and then they'll come back 4 weeks later and say, we really need that number. But I'd rather have a target date for us to know when to have it, because at some point they're going to want it from a budgeting standpoint, because they're obviously, like I said, they're building their budget right now. Did Norman say,
So
the
discussion.
the project down on Island Terrace are we thinking that's going to be more towards FY24? Does he think it's going that slowly? I honestly haven't been down that way in a while.
No, I would picture us being somewhere around 50% complete by July 1st. Norma, give me a reality check here, because you've been out there more recently. Island Terrace, you think they'll be at 50% July 1st?
They will definitely be first building by July 1st. They may be 100%.
Okay.
But
First,
the second building probably won't be.
yeah. First building will be at 100%
Second one hasn't even started yet.
by July 1st, but they haven't even sunk a foundation yet on the second building.
Okay.
So,
All right, so we'll start working on this, and again, if we get an selectman's office, we probably should just confirm a date they really need the number by, so we can do our best to hit that target. Any other questions or discussion on new growth or comments? Okay, now for
I
the
do have
exciting.
Quick update, a vision upgrade. When we last spoke, it was the quote was given at 32,500, so 2,500 more than what was allocated by the town. So I've re-engaged the contact at Vision to see if we can come in at 30,000.
Okay, all right, well, like I said, we just want to, let's get the right number, so when we talk to Todd, we can make sure it's correct, and we don't have to come back and tell him we underestimated. All right, now on to the exciting stuff. Pictometry, which you've been dying to tell us about, Harald. Dave Lamro's been waiting all week.
So, Pictometry, and I think I was actually, now that my memory's jogged, I think we were going to look at a demonstration, and oh golly, how can we make this happen?
You need to share your screen. Sean can let you share it, right, Sean?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, but I'm looking in my bag for my login script to get into Eagle View, and wow. I apologize. I just read the agenda a few minutes before the meeting, and I'm sadly not prepared to give you that demo. And yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, so no exciting stuff today. So, well, not, I mean, obviously, if we can't see the demo, I mean, basically, this is something that we're looking to move to, correct?
Yeah. Let me just, if you bear with me a second, let me see. There's probably enough visuals on their website. Eagle View Pictometry. Okay. Okay. Do I have the ability to take over on a share?
Yep, you should be able to.
Okay, LakeCAM would have to enable me to do that. Okay, what's my problem here? Okay. Can you all see the screen I have in front of me?
Yes.
So this Pictometry solution has been around for actually something close to 30 years. But as it's evolved, it's gotten ever better. Eagle View is the owner of the technology, and along with owning the technology, also the contractor that I've contracted with in the past to create high resolution. It's basically a collection of high resolution images of all of the town. And with the special software that EagleView software that ships with the imagery, we have the ability to integrate that into our GIS, and for any parcel that we bring up, be able to do a 360-degree walk around the property. So you'll see the website is focused on a certain property. It looks almost like someplace down south, just given the architecture. But at a click of a mouse, you have the ability to really view the entire property on an oblique rather than straight down basis. You can, the technology also allows you to do a straight down view, and I'll show you in the bottom right-hand corner what that represents. If you picture this house that is on display, you have the ability to actually zoom in, and because of the high resolution, really get a very close-up, detailed view of any property and any structure. The tool set that comes with EagleView gives us measuring tools. So we have the ability to take a measuring bar against any side or any portion of a given structure, and with fairly high accuracy, measure the length, the width, the lineal measurement of any wall that makes up the property. Some of this imagery is so good, when you zoom in, you can even count the shingles on the roof. Companies like roofing companies will often use this technology to count shingles, and when they generate estimates for homeowners. Assessors in the future are really going to be keen to use this technology, because, as you know, gaining access to properties is getting to be more and more difficult. We have any number of property owners throughout the year who complain bitterly that somebody from our office dared to step on their property. Fact of the matter is, in this day and age, it's hard to measure and list a property as we used to, where we would just on a cold call knock on somebody's door and have free reign to walk around the property. That's just not possible in these days. So this sort of imagery, I think, provides us with a great alternative, and perhaps even far more efficient way of verifying our assessment records, and also capturing any missing structures that might not have made their way to the property record card. What's interesting, and if I can scroll down a bit, you'll see here a before and after photo. So what we do is we have the town flown, we have a set of imagery that is archived, and then down the road we have the town flown again, say 5 years down the pike, and through special change detection software, the EagleView application will actually highlight new structures that weren't there at the prior flyover. So you'll see in this diagram the home largely as it was, but then there's an addition of what appears to be a pool. The software is intelligent enough to automatically highlight for us any missing structures that or any new structures that have been constructed since the last flyover. So what I'm proposing, if everyone down the hall and upstairs agrees, I'd like to pursue through the ARPA grants that towns are applying to, that we see if we can get ARPA monies to help pay for the flyover. I'm estimating that a flyover for Lakeville will probably be somewhere in the $30,000 to $35,000 range. But that would then give us an incredibly rich resource and data that would be useful not only to the assessor's office, but I think you can see the benefit to like emergency services people, anybody that, even your land use people that want something more than just a two-dimensional paper map to look at when they view a property.
Earl, how
That's
often do the photos get updated? I mean, with communities that do use this, because obviously, if we were able to get ARPA money to do the initial flyover, that's good initially, but I'm assuming, I think you pointed out before, you have to do additional flyovers to keep up to date, right?
So the Commonwealth has a program by which they periodically fly portions of the state. So there is on a regular basis new imagery that the state commissions. Barring that, we would need to probably go out in 5 years or at some point beyond 5 years to have the town reflown.
How much does this, from a manpower standpoint, how much does, I'm assuming this saves the town something from having to go out and do, obviously not new inspections, or, somebody pulls a building permit. I mean, we're not going to wait 5 years to incorporate that onto someone's assessment, but is there any cost savings as far as, some of the cyclical inspections and whatnot that may not need to be done quite as often, or because we're if we were to go forward with this?
Well, the answer is yes. I know on my staff, my inspection staff, where we've deployed this technology, we're actually in our second year now using this as an alternative to the old method, which would be to drive out to a community, perhaps sometimes spend an hour and a half on the road to get to the community site, and then having to drive up a driveway, get out of the car, make contact with the property owner, often be uninvited and perhaps re-invited at a different time to come back. All of that time gets thrown out the window, and we were able to really very efficiently conduct the first stage of a data verification. We supplement this with MLS and other online resources. We also supplement with a questionnaire that goes out to property owners inquiring about any improvements they've made on the inside. And then finally, where we determine, and it happens with some regularity, where we determine that a full inspection, interior inspection is needed, we've been using our cell phones. The face feature on an iPhone is actually fabulous. I've actually even recently had some inspections out in the western part of the state where it just wasn't practical for me to drive 2.5 hours to a person's home, but with their iPhone, I could direct a virtual inspection of really every corner of the home, and it's just really astounding what can be done and how much time can be saved through these readily available technologies.
Okay. I mean, the reason I'm asking is obviously, that when we propose it potentially with the town, that I'm sure that's going to be, one of the questions is what's going to be the ongoing cost to maintain and keep it going, which it would be, but if it's going to save us on an expense on the other end, then logically it should or would make sense, so.
Yeah, I think there's the potential for actually performing more frequent inspections or data verifications using the technology. Right now, we're on a once every 10-year schedule. We're required by a DOR to verify property data once every 10 years. I could see this technology allowing us to do it on a much more frequent basis.
Okay.
We'd all like to think that everybody takes out building permits whenever they do work on their homes. Fact of the matter is that property owners
A lot
don't.
of people that don't. Okay, anybody, Dave, you have any questions or? Okay.
Nope.
All right, so I guess, I mean, the next step would potentially be to, you know, put some type of proposal or request together to run. Is this something you're, well, I guess to your point, Harold, I mean, if we're gonna look to kick it off with ARPA money, it's something we're gonna have to do sooner rather than later. So we should probably
Right.
put some type of proposal and budget together. I mean, I'm assuming, do we need to get a quote from these people in order to get a firm number? Or is it?
I can certainly do that. I'm in contact with them all the time.
That would probably be the first step, to get the costs associated with it and then come up with some, you know, some proposal, a document to, and then meet with Todd and see what their thoughts are and to take the next step.
So there was a reach out some time ago from Duxbury. The assessor there is also keen to get this technology in place. And I never heard back. I had responded that we would definitely want to at least talk or engage in discussions about kind of a regional flyover. And perhaps, I think I was thinking at the time that there might be some state monies that would help fund kind of a regional flyover. I have not heard anything back on that project, but it'd be worth contacting the Duxbury office to see where they went with that.
Well, maybe we should reach out to Duxbury and then at the same time, you know, when we're getting the number from Eagle, you know, that would be great if we could do it regionally, but if there's enough ARPA money there, that would make it that much easier for us just to go forward with it, as long as, you know, as long as
even if ARPA,
go ahead.
even if ARPA monies aren't available, there might be, when you consider the value to multiple departments, there might be a strong pitch from a number of departments to for the town to invest in the technology.
All right, so again, maybe the first step is we get a number from Eagle, and then we put a game plan or place and set up a meeting with whether it's other department heads, or see if there's any other communities like Duxbury who are willing to do something regionally, and also find out what the potential is for ARPA money. So I'm sure it could be tied back to the safety of people going out and doing on-site inspections when, you know, we're in the throes of COVID, and it would be much better to have a plane go and take pictures. So I'm sure there's a way to tie it back to be eligible for ARPA funds. I'm pretty sure. There's almost any way to tie it.
I've got it. I've got it down on my list here for a follow-up.
Okay. Let's see, back to my agenda. I think that takes care of any specific agenda items. Any new business to come before the board? Interestingly, we're just about halfway through the abatement
month of January, and to date we have 3 abatements that have been filed. And just asking Norman and Linda, precious few phone calls. I don't know, David, have you had some phone calls? 0.
0 phone calls, 0 emails. It's been very quiet on that front.
Well,
That's
I'm
amazing
hoping
to me.
it stays quiet, but I'm not gonna count my chickens before they hatch, because I'm pretty sure with the values doing what they did, that we're probably gonna get an influx of them. I hope I'm wrong, but I can't imagine we're not gonna get, a few more than 3, maybe the last 2 weeks of the month, which is what usually happens, right?
Yes, that does happen, and we've been fooled before. But what's interesting about this time around, usually we get some number of phone calls and people requesting abatement applications. So we know that those applications are going to come rolling in at some point. But there's been very little of that, which
So
is
let me-
curious because.
Only because I want to be proactive. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. I mean, obviously with the massive COVID outbreak, a lot of people are having to isolate and they're not out and doing things, and they have other things on the forefront of their mind. Those applications for abatements need to be in by February 1st, correct?
That is correct.
What is our ability to take them in after the fact? And I'm going someplace with this. I don't think we can, correct? We're not supposed to.
No, we cannot.
Okay, so unless anyone's opposed to it, I think maybe I'd like to maybe post something on the assessors page of the town site, or maybe even on the front page. Not that I'm looking to have a bunch of abatements, but if we don't get a lot of abatements, and again, with everybody, with values going up the way they did, I don't know if it's safer to post something to let people know, remind them, listen, February 1st, they have to be in. So if we get a whole bunch of people coming to us the first and second week of February, I'm trying to play a little defense as far as us being proactive. I don't want to encourage them. I'm surprised that we only have 3 at this point, with knowing what the values have done this past year.
Yeah.
What does anybody think of that?
Substantial increases, of course, all market driven. Of course,
Right.
the crazy real estate market where it's gone. But yes, I think that's a good point, John. Anything we can do to let people know that there is a hard deadline for filing
I
abatement.
mean, we know February 1st is what it is, but I'm not so sure that, individual who decides on February 5th because they forgot or whatever the case may be. I mean, I know we don't have any flexibility, but I just don't know. I think it would be nice they're still going to be upset, but at least we can say, listen, we made sure everybody, we did what we could, short of going to everyone's house door to door and knocking on it, which nobody wants the assessor coming and knocking on their door anyway. So, Lamro, what do you think? Bad idea to be proactive, or?
If you want to put it out, you want to put it on the website, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess I'm looking at it from, if someone, if we get people coming to us after February 1st, oh, I didn't know, and this, at least we can say, listen, we, because of everything going on, we did something we normally don't do, which is posted it to remind people. I mean, it's buried in our website, but they can put like a header on it that basically says your reminder if you have an abatement, because if someone's questioning
I guess it can't hurt, but people.
Website, look at it anyways, at least then something will let them know, listen, February 1st is the date, don't sit on it.
That's fine, I guess it can't hurt, but people know when they see their bill. And also, it's the assessed value went up, but the tax rate goes down, so people know real estate has gone up in value.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to putting it on the website, but I don't think we need to scream it from the rooftops and try to open the floodgates of abatement
No,
applications.
trust me, I'm with you. I don't want to do that either. I know it's only whatever it is today, the 13th. I'm surprised we haven't, 3 is a pretty low number halfway through the month, especially with, I understand people know the real estate market went up, but, everybody always thinks they're over assessed anyways, whether they are or not, because Unless they're assessed at zero, they're gonna be unhappy until they're trying to sell their house. So, all right, well, I'll circle back with Tracy or whoever, just have them do a posting on our page and put it to bed. All right, so that was the new business. Any other new business?
There's none.
Any old business? Hearing none?
There is none. David,
None.
David, do you have, David Golden, do you have any old business?
Nope.
Okay. Well, we don't need to go into executive session, so it is 4:45, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
I was entertaining a motion, but I'll turn it in. I made the,
Okay,
we only had one today. We couldn't even get that one right. So, all right, I made the motion. Dave Lamro seconded the motion. Any further discussion? All in favor? Oliveri, aye.
Lamero, aye.
Motion carries. All right, meeting's adjourned, 4:45. Thanks, guys.